Yeah, can you all see my screen or no?
Yeah, I see Sejal software.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. So this is something which I will start with usually. So I'm going to the next slide. So what we will do is we'll cover up some of the uh, overview of the Salesforce and what it constitutes. We look at the user interface. And for that, what I am going to do is I am coming up with a fictitious company name, and then I'll include some of the roles of the company, and also because we all are learning administration, right? So we'll get this fictitious admin for the company and see how he is going to perform his duty, which would be similar to what we're going to do once we get the training done. You understood, right?
Yeah.
So here, like the Salesforce CRM overview for SK Systems. So this is a fictitious company name, and I have these roles defined here. Like Chris is a CEO, Frank finance, Sally sales, Mark in marketing, Sergi service, Harper HR. So I just gave the name such that it will be easy to relate what their function is in the company. Like Sally, when I refer to Sally, is sales person, like sales director or sales manager. Similarly, Frank is finance, like director or VP. Then Chris, similarly, Mark will take care of marketing, and Harper is the HR, Sergi service, and Alan is our admin. Okay, so Helen, so for this SK Systems, what has been done is already an outside consulting company. They came and they implemented the system for them, and the system is rolled out to the users, right? And the company recruited Alan, the administrator, and we are going to see how Alan is going to do his job, or he's trying to understand the Salesforce CRM that is given to him. Okay. So here, what we have, some of the
So
CRM.
Sada, actually, if you please make me I'll tell you what I understand. So this particular company, Sejal Software, is trying to implement Salesforce for their company, and they have given a list of roles that they want to have accounts for, and this Alan guy is supposed to do all that stuff for them. Is that right?
Yes, yeah, that's correct. Yeah. So there's one difference, Srikant, here, that Sejal Software or SK System, it's already implemented the Salesforce, and Alan is going to join as a system admin.
Okay, it's Sejal Software.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, and he is going to support the users, and what he would be doing is, as the company goes through some changes, or the users when they come as new joinees or new employees, he is going to like bring them on board to use Salesforce. I'm just giving one of the examples, but before that, he should understand what is Salesforce, right? Is Abhijit, is it clear for you?
Yes, but out of the box, one question: when a company wants to implement the software Salesforce.
Yeah, go ahead. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, question. Actually, the question is, so when as a company, let's say I'm a company, right? I want to implement Salesforce for my company with about 100 or 200 employees. And how do you, from Salesforce, how does the Salesforce charge the company? Do they charge based on its usage, or do they have any different levels of license, or based on the number of roles, or how do they charge? Because it's definitely on the cloud, right? So they don't do any in-house implementation. So how do they figure out this is the right product for this company, and so this is the right package, or anything like that, right?
Yeah. So here, what they have is they have different versions, like professional version and enterprise, ultimate. So each version has some more functionality compared to the version which is below to that, which is group edition, then professional edition, enterprise, ultimate. So each of these package let's say if you look at the group edition, for example, there is no like CRM functionality. If you look at the professional edition, then it will have this group edition functionality, some additional. So that is how it will be there, and the price range is from about like $70, $90 per month per user. Similarly, like $125 per month per user, depending on the version of the software or the capabilities of the features that are available in the Salesforce system.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's basically maybe in our cable TV, right? If you go for different packages, then they will charge a little more, right, per month. Same here also. Okay. So here what actually I will bring up the system and also explain you, but this is what I'm just going to like cover up when I show up the system also. So here there are something called objects, which are nothing but it's a table of data with the records, and Salesforce comes up with predefined objects which they call as standard objects. And there are some standard objects related to sales functionality, marketing functionality, and service functionality. And some of those objects are called, the names given are like accounts, contacts, leads, opportunities, cases, campaigns, and solutions. So the moment I use these words, if some of you know CRM already, then you might understand what is an account or contacts. And Bhaskar and Srikanth, I don't know whether you are from CRM background, but I know Abhijit has some CRM background. So Abhijit, can you answer my question? Like, do you know what these terms, like when somebody says account, any one of you can answer, like what is an account from your exposure to the industry or on the applications that you worked before? Can anybody answer? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, refers to mostly your customers or also some of your vendors whom you're working with. Typically, I have been on Zoho CRM, as I said, wherein we mention a lot of repository of our accounts, which refers to our customers. A lot of our transaction data, most of the time is dynamic. Obviously, we tend to provide the overview of it in these account objects, and through that we extract some of detailed information also in the other primary objects like contacts, and that's how we initiate leads. And our primary of contact is also associated with multiple listings under which different teams come in. So each of them again will provide you a lot of contacts within that. It can be aligned or it can be arranged to it can be mapped to multiple kind of contacts, be it mobile, the ways that you communicate, emails. That's how CRM picks, right, accordingly.
Yeah.
Primarily objects are the first criteria that you choose for.
Yeah, and again leads. Bhaskar or Srikanth, do you know anything about opportunity cases? At least maybe one of you can answer whatever you know of, like when you hear a word like case. Any idea? Any of you?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so when it talks about cases, I mean, I use Salesforce software for raising a ticket, right? I mean, if we have any issue, major issue, let's say there is a network down, right? To make it up, we raise a case for, which goes through different stages from our group to a different group, and they update the result and they close the ticket. For tracking different types of issues. I mean, that's what I understand by case, but it could be different in this case. But I kind of have an idea. Leads in the sense like, there is a potential business opportunity. That's called lead from my perspective. That's what I understand. I mean, it could be different, but I do not have any CRM background.
Yeah. Okay. How about Bhaskar? Anything that you want to add up for any of these words like campaigns or solutions? Anything that you can? Bhaskar, are you there or no?
I'm on the mute actually. So I agree the same thing with Srikanth about the leads.
What is the lead?
I mean, it's like marketing. Marketing kind of business. It can be lead for them. Right? Suppose, for example, if you download a free trialware software, so that can be lead for that. When you create an account, that can be lead for them. So, and then opportunity also, if they can't, I mean, so for example, if the lead contacted the service guy, and there is a possibility of opportunity to become a customer for them. So, I mean, that's what I understood.
Okay, okay. Yeah, pretty much. I just want to make sure that everybody has some background or knows the terminology of sales, CRM, or sales, marketing, service functionality. So I give a life cycle or whatever I understand from my own words or whatever that I got exposed to CRM. So usually CRM starts with marketing, and if I usually take my example of whatever I was trying, and maybe you can like export it or extend it to further, to big companies or any other company. What I think Bhaskar also gave an example. When you visit a website, if you want to download some white paper or something, then you have to give your information, right? So that is something like giving your information so that they can call you back and then follow up with you to see what is your interest in their information or the services that they are providing. So same thing, what I have done is I think posted my services on the crmservices.in, what I would be doing. So Abhijit called me, and so that was a lead for me. So what I have done is I have done marketing. What I did is, when I say marketing, I have exposed myself with my services to the outside world. And whenever people have the opportunity, they Googled, and whenever they wanted to have a service like a training, right, on Salesforce. So the prospects are the people who are interested in. Those are like prospects of a service. So they Googled and they found out. So they called this company, and this company felt, okay, this person is in need of this service. So from marketing, whatever the leads get generated, they will after getting the information, they'll transfer that into sales organization. So sales organization, once they get it, they will follow up with the lead to make sure that the lead is genuine and they have time to take the service, and also they have the money to pay for the service. So that's what they do, something called lead qualification. Once the lead is qualified and they show the interest, then in the sales only, they will again go to the next step, where they will try to set up a demo, or give a proposal, or leave a system with in their premises so that they can start using it and come back. So this is a very basic sales process what I'm talking about. So once, let's say in our training scenario, what happened, Abhijit called me, and even Bhaskar, and actually he said, okay, I have Srikanth who is interested. So something like that happened, and I was working on my sales process to give a scenario, or maybe give a demo, so that you show interest to continue with me. So that's what I have done. And in the sales process, there is a last stage which is called either lose or winning the business or losing the business. So that is what I think I would say today's class, right? When I am doing it, that is okay. After this class, either I might get the business or I may not get the business. So how do you define getting a business or not getting a business? It's like winning an opportunity, right? So winning an opportunity, I should translate into a monetary, it should turn into a monetary transaction. For example, today, let's say three of you will take this class, and yes, you might say, okay, thank you, Sada, we are fine. No, we are not interested, or we don't want to take it. So that means I might have lost the business, right? And let's say Bhaskar says, okay, I'm interested, I want to continue. So I might win one opportunity, but let's say Srikanth and Abhijit, they may not, they will step out and they don't want to continue. So that becomes like lost opportunity. So during the sales process, once I get the business, then only I can consider it as an opportunity that I got as a business from. Otherwise, it's like no business. So assuming that I'll take a positive scenario where all of you would continue with the next class, and what it involves is, by making the payment for the services, right? So once I get the payment, or maybe in the bigger orders, like you will get a purchase order, or you will get some contract signed by the purchaser. So all of those different type of commitments will be given to the company to pay the money once the services are delivered, or of the product is delivered to the person who is buying the product. So that completes the sales cycle or sales process. Then the next one comes into support or service. So again, I will take the same scenario of I think Srikanth has already gave a good example. I think they are using Salesforce for services. So what happens in my scenario, if I continue to take the example of training, I would be delivering the service, right, for doing the classes every week 2 times, and maybe 1 day over the weekend. Like that I will be doing. And while you are taking the class, attending the classes, there may be a scenario where I might be going fast, or I may be not giving more examples, or I might be not giving examples. So in one of these cases, there may be some feedback, either good, okay, I think we are happy with your training, that could be a comment. So again, that comment might really motivate the company to do better for others also. Let's say the situation might be wherein I may be giving too much, too many exercises, or then you might say, okay, I think it's become very difficult for us to follow, can you slow down? So that could be a request, and the request comes to the company as a case or as a request. So then the company persons would look at the request, and then they will try to address it. Let's say if the service is not good, then what I would do is maybe I'll try to prepare better for the class, or maybe try to address individually. I might tell, okay, Abhijit, you can call me when you are like practicing, and then I will be available for you to answer your queries. So like that, I'll try to convince, and I'll try to make sure that my entire CRM cycle, which is from marketing to service, or until I provide my complete service or deliver the product, I'll take care of you properly. So that becomes a complete cycle. And why am I doing all this? Why companies will try to do all this is to get a repeat business from the same company. For let's say, for example, I might have another training, let's say Android mobile training, for example, and Salesforce and CRM, as well as they have some mobile apps, right? So you may be interested in learning mobile integration also. So you might come back. So that is the repeat business for a different product. Or you could also refer my name or the Sagel software to others to come and take classes from me. So then also I am trying to make sure that I am doing my best to the current or existing customers to get repeat business from them, or to get referral through them for the new customers. So that is the overall general CRM, what it is constitutes. Like whenever companies spend money on CRM projects, they are trying to retain the customers and get customers, and also make sure that the sales people, that is on the customer side. Now what happens to the users of the system itself? Because sometimes when sales representatives, what they do is they are supposed to call, let's say 20 leads every day, and marketing also should generate, let's say, some 40 leads every day through their campaigns. So how do they track that? Okay, whether this person is calling 20 leads, and whether this campaign is generating 40 leads. So all of this can be tracked in the Salesforce, like any CRM system. And from that they can make a decision, like company, senior management make a decision to see, okay, what is that we should do to increase the lead generation, or these campaigns, what we are running to generate the leads, why they are not working. So like that, depending on the information that they collect, they can look at the information, analyze the data, and try to make changes so that they can meet their goals in terms of lead generation, or following up the leads. So that is some of the other things from the user side. So any questions? I think I was just giving an overview on the CRM. Srikanth, Bhaskar, or Abhijit.
No, I'm good, Sada.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
good, Srikanth.
Okay. Okay. So now that is all generic, and then particular to Salesforce CRM, in other CRMs, these objects might be called tables or I don't. Yes, mostly tables or rows or something like that. It will be called. But in Salesforce, whatever you see like objects. So whenever you talk about Salesforce CRM, maybe you should use a word like object rather than table, just to make sure that no other person also like understands. And then there is something called objects and relationships, and in that there is like lookup relationships, and we'll also look at what is an application and tab. Okay, so here again like there is something called home page, sidebar, pop-up summary, object tab, accounts view, what is view, recent record detail. So I'll just show bring up the application and show you all of these whatever I showed you on the presentation. Yeah, can you see my screen?
I see homepage, sidebar, pop-up summary. I still see the same thing.
Oh, maybe I think you are looking at this one. I think. Yeah, now I think you can see this one.
Yeah. Now I.
Now, yeah. So this is the Salesforce CRM application. So how many of you seen this application already?
Well, I have seen Sada, but like I said, this is for the cases. Can you click on cases? Let me see if that's the same thing. Yeah, create new case. Yes, this part I've used actually.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll click this one. So do you use create case also, Srikanth?
What case?
Do you create cases?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so maybe I'll click on this form and see, do you see something like this?
Yes, account name and yeah, just this is how I create case. But actually, we have some customized fields for our application, right? For example, case owner, it shows my name, and then I go ahead after creation of the case, I go ahead and change the case owner. Whoever I want to assign it to, I'll send it to the concerned vice president or the director.
Okay.
Then he assigns to the respective engineer who is going to work on that particular thing, right?
Yeah. Okay. So you are assigning that case to whoever is the person going to work on. Okay, that's fine. How about you?
Case owner. Yeah, because when I create a ticket, it shows.
Do we also have it automatically assigned? Because typically most of the times users tend to use and when they request for such cases, and the system is what how do we at least we did that in if we have something pulling up automatically, it used to be assigned to one of the administrator or the what he just said, instead of assigning it manually, service engineer or somebody. So do we have that provision here?
Yes, sir, that will be there. So we will cover up as I said, right, in the course topics. So in the workflow rules, right? So we will look at that feature also. How can we automatically assign the cases to a queue or an individual? So do you have any queues, Srikanth, in your situation? Like what I hear is you create a case and then you assign it to director or someone.
Right.
Is there any do you have a customer portal or any intranet wherein you create a cases and directly it will be given to some queue? Do you have anything like that?
Yes, we put that in queue. Actually, I think see on the right side you see status or case origin. I think somewhere around that there should be. We check the department to, for example, operations, right?
Yeah.
We assign it to operations, and I can just put that in a queue. Queue should be somewhere. Queue. But at the same time, when a customer has a complaint, they call support, and the support also creates cases. They create a Salesforce case and assign it to our engineering department. So they send it to a. Yeah, so that's how Yeah.
Yeah, so Abhijit, yeah, we will look at that. So here, depending on the case thing, if it manually gets created, then the person who is creating, if he knows whom to assign it, they will do it. But otherwise, the assignment what you are referring would be applicable when somebody is sending an email or creating on the website of the company about the problem. So at that time, when it creates a case, it will be routed to a queue, and from the queue, the members of the queue will be taking the ownership. But yeah, we will look at as we look into our course as we go forward.
Because I have just been the user of the system in creating tickets, but if you, I think there should be another option to see my tickets and all, where it does show the tickets and the status of the tickets of the cases, right? And likewise, I believe if somebody opens a case and assign it to me, if I just log in and if I look at my cases, it should probably show the cases that are assigned to me, right?
Yes, yeah, that's correct. Yeah. So
okay.
yeah, so if we'll look at the same like example which I was mentioning right on our presentation, we have like one of the objects tab, no, let's say accounts, or we look at cases, right? So cases, we have I think I passed it. Yeah, so this one, when you look at, can you so this is the when I click on these cases, this is called the tab of the cases, and here whatever you see, this view, so this view is nothing like a filter. So the name that you have, like all open cases, so it will leave like my open cases. I think that's what you are referring to. Like when you click on my, so these are all, this will show like the cases that you are owning. And so here again, change the owner. Like when you click here and then change owner, it will take into some other window where you can assign a different owner. But for today's class, as we are just going over the overview of this application, probably it might help Bhaskar also to look at. So the moment you log into system, you come and look at this home page, right? So in home page, what you have is you have your this is something called, do you use Charter, by the way, Shrikant?
Say that again. Charter?
Charter, yeah, Charter.
No.
Okay. So here this is something like called Charter, which is like similar to Skype or Yahoo Messenger or what is other one. Yeah. So here that is the message. But apart from that, the important thing is this calendar. So this calendar is as the users of the system, maybe you might be having a calendar where it will show the meetings that you have with your customers. I don't know. Do you use calendar, Shrikant?
Not really.
Not okay. Yeah, but at least this my task. So on the home page, what you would see is whatever the task that you have. So task could be sending an email to someone or like calling somebody. So all those becomes like a task, and they'll be shown here on this home page under this section. And then there is something called items to approve. So let's say opportunity, right? If you are giving some discount like 20% on a big deal, that needs to be approved by your manager, right? And if you are a manager logging into the system, it will show the opportunity that needs to be approved, and you actually approve it. And we will look at some of those as we progress, through our classes. So this is the main home page screen. And if you look at here, this is on the left side, you have some of these links like create new. So this entire section almost here, this is called as a sidebar, and it will show the first 10 recently opened items. And you remember, the moment I click on this overall this link, I see a pop-up window which lists summary information of this particular object, which in this case, in our case, it is a case. So it will show here. Similarly, if I this is my charter information is showing, and there is some other thing like invoice statement, So this is all like sidebar, and then there is something called recycle bin, which is a placeholder for any records that you delete from the system. It will keep it for a certain period before that gets deleted. Any questions, Abhijit, from your side so far? I think have you used Salesforce system before, Abhijit?
Yeah, so it looks so similar to that of Zoho also, and also, yeah, as I said, we have the, same. I mean, I have come across this,
Okay.
but not used
Okay.
it.
Okay, that's fine. So here now on the accounts, or I think I am looking at this cases, right? So here again you look at this is called the case home tab. As I said earlier, so there are something called the tabs, objects, and applications. So each object also has its own tab, and in object it's just object of cases. The moment when you see a tab, it got its own like view, and the recently opened or recently created cases, or it could be accounts, then the related reports that are based on the cases, and some of these tools. So this is called a home tab of the cases. Similarly, if you look at click on the accounts tab, accounts also has this view. It's a kind of filter, like all accounts or my accounts. So it will show up the my accounts. Then I can again click on this. So it will show recent accounts. If I create a new account, it will show recent accounts. And also on the right side, if you see, for the recent accounts also you have another filters like recently created, recently modified, recently viewed. So here if you do this filtering, then it will show the recently modified accounts. And if I say recently created, it will show the recently created accounts. So this is called accounts tab. And so here what we are looking at is we are looking at the overview of the Salesforce CRM, and we are looking at the application like navigation, and what are the tabs, what are the objects, what is the home page, and what is the sidebar. So that's what we are looking at. Now on the right side, if you look at, you see your name, the person who has logged in. I think Srikanth is, I think he knows, he shows, it's called user menu. And when you click user menu, you got this my profile setup, some of these like developer console. And then you have help here, and then on the right side, which is important. And so Srikanth, do you also go to any other application? Do you use this force.com app menu anytime?
No, Sada, I just use only the cases part of it, that's it.
Okay. Now I was explaining you, right? CRM consists of three functionality or three modules, sales, marketing, and service. And Salesforce is addressing those three functions, which is departments, sales and marketing. So if you look at and click on this side, this down arrow, you see all of these applications. So these are called applications like call center, marketing, and this we are already sales, right? So that's why it won't show. If we click on marketing, so now you see the tabs changed from the previous view. Like earlier there were a couple of more right here, but now it got changed to campaigns, leads, and contacts, and opportunity, and reports, and dashboards. Like let me change it to, I think you are using call center if I am correct, Srikanth. So you see cases, solutions, reports, accounts. So what do you understand from this is like again I will change it to sales. So it got to it showed so many other tabs. So what actually we can infer or understand from this is the application is nothing but a group of tabs configured. Yeah, like let's say marketing. So the moment I click on marketing application, it has only these tabs: home, charter, campaigns, leads, contacts, opportunities, and reports, and dashboards. So depending on the application, the tabs are changing. That means I can have a group of tabs together and call it an application. So that's what the Salesforce also does the same thing. Like if I want to create a new application, what I would do is I will include all these the tabs that are supporting that functionality. For example, I want to have a time card application. Right? So time card applications, I might create a new tab related to time card, and at the same time I can have my contacts. For example, when I am entering my time card, I want to have my contacts also referred in the time card, right, or accounts. Like let's say I have spent half a day at some customer's place, so I can include my account as well as the person whoever is entering the time card information. So I can include accounts, the contacts, and also the time card, new object, and I'll call it as a time card application, which includes these tabs. So that's how an application is defined in Salesforce. It's a group of tabs that are supporting the functionality needed by the company. Okay, and now what we look at is any questions so far here?
No, but one question I have.
Yeah.
See this. I don't know. So how to put this question? A user, right? Based on the role. Does the view change once he logs into the application? Do we get to control that?
Yes. We get to control that. Yes.
So, for example, if I am a basic user, after I log into Salesforce application, I get to see limited tabs, limited drop-down values, and limited functionality. But when I log in as a different person, but the view is not same for everybody. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. So there is something called profiles, so which we actually control the access to the users. Let's say a sales rep is there. It's for sales rep, we might restrict him not to do any changes to the opportunity, like percentages, right? So only the or maybe he should not update the status of the opportunity for approval status. So that we can control that particular field. We can control, and also we would not allow him to delete the opportunities. Or let's say if we both are sales reps, right, and I might not allow you to look at my opportunities, and you will not be able to see my opportunities. So that is something through settings we can control that. Similarly, you can create, let's say if you are my manager, you can create the opportunities, but I cannot create. I can only edit the opportunity. So that type of functionality is can be configured in the application. Even for example, cases, right? Somebody can create the cases, and other cannot delete the cases. Only they can edit the cases. So this can be configured through.
So
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, one other question. So when we talk about customization, right? So are these by default, like say home, charter accounts, contacts, all these tabs are there, and I've also seen some drop-down values. So all the labels or all the labels on those tabs or all the, so are these customizable? Can I, let's say I figure out, I don't want to have solutions. Instead of solutions, I want to have something else there, and I don't want to see, one of the tab. Charter, I don't even want to see that. So all these views customizable, and also the labels and drop down values.
Yes, yeah. You can change the names, and also you can remove one or some of these tabs.
Okay. The answer drop down values, right?
Yes, drop down values you can modify them. Yeah.
Okay. When we talk about workflow, what it means is, let's say I create a case, right? And I want that case to be routed to Bhaskar.
Yeah.
Okay. And this particular case is beyond Bhaskar's control, because Bhaskar, let's say, needs to send it to Abhijit. Okay. And let's say secondary approval process, right? Yeah, because this is above $1 million thing, and Bhaskar wants to have a secondary approval by another employee in the company. So I send it to Bhaskar, and Bhaskar sends it to Abhijit, and Abhijit sends it to you, and then it is approved, and this particular order goes through. So when we talk about all this routing logic, right? So when I create a deal, if it is $50,000 or $1 million, and I'm only a basic employee of the company, and I'm not authorized to approve it, and I will in turn have to route it to Bhaskar. Bhaskar, since it is beyond Bhaskar, Bhaskar is authorized only at 500,000. So since this deal is $1 million, it has to route to Abhijit, and Abhijit will in turn has to route it to you because it's dollar amount. So all this workflow logic, do we as an admin, do we get to control that, or do we do we get to control the cases or the workflow behind it?
Yeah, so I would say, Bhaskar, go ahead.
What I think is, like, again, that control, Srikanth, probably is again limited. When you customize as a user, right, you have your limitations to your accessibility as well. So sometimes you're able to customize the applications, but not the standard objects. Whereas the admin like Sada, who is in the top in the hierarchy, he has already preset the limitations. I think that's how the workflow will start functioning. I mean, if that's what I'm
Yeah. So Abhijit,
that's what we did in previous. So yeah, I think you're right.
So you did previously were on Zoho CRM or Salesforce?
Yes, Sada, on Zoho. I mean,
Okay.
Not
Yeah.
as
So
I said, right, overview of some customers is what we used to have. Obviously, the inner, I mean, broader set of data and everything is again not in our control. Obviously, somebody else was taking care of. So it automatically used to pop up that it is you don't have admin rights and things like that.
yeah. So here is one, I think, word I would use is configure rather than using the word control. So when I say configure, configuring is what is what needs to be done is configuring the system to have this flow available in the system. The moment something comes up, it goes to Srikanth, and the Srikanth can do only up to 10%. If it is more than that, if it is 20%, then it should have a secondary approval, which is Bhaskar, right? Again, if it is 30%, it should be again going to Abhijit, and after Abhijit, the final person is like maybe me, right? So that is how we configure, and that can be done by an administrator, and so that is called an approval process especially in Salesforce. So rather than so in Salesforce, workflow is not for approving the things, but for approvals they have something like specific term called approvals. So through approvals we define the conditions. Okay, if it is 10%, approval from Srikanth is fine. If it is 20%, then it should actually be approved by Srikanth and Bhaskar. If it is 30%, all these conditions, right? If it is 30%, then it should be Srikanth, Bhaskar, and Abhijit. Then it should be done by the next person, whoever it is. So like that, you can have these conditions, and the conditions can be set up or configured in the Salesforce system. And once it is up and running, or if the users are using the system, whenever there is a condition that is meeting 10%, 20%, 30%, the system will automatically route, and it should show. When I say route means, let's say if it is 20%, right? Automatically it comes to you. The moment you say, okay, I'm fine with, the record will be visible to Bhaskar. So without him doing anything, either you will get a email notification, or whenever, as I said, in this home page, it's like items to approve. You see here, right? So under this, it will show the items to approve for Bhaskar or any user. So that is how it will be done. And pretty much whatever we are discussing, it is accomplished through configuration as well as customization of the Salesforce system. And most of the time, whatever that a user or company gets when they sign up for Salesforce account, most of the time everything will be modified. Everything in the sense, let's say, the thing what you mentioned, right, cases. So this is the new case form, which is a part of the out of the box case form. But if you compare this with what you have, Srikanth, it is different, right? Maybe, yeah, this, I don't know whether contact name is still contact name, or it might be changed to something else, or account is maybe site name or company name. So it could be different like that, and also you might have added more fields, or case origin could be different values, and even status, it could be new working or some other new values. So all of that can be doable, or maybe you'll have different sections, or it could be longer page than what you see here. depending on what you would have.
So now, pretty much like that, but yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it could be depending on the company, what they sell, what they like support. No, depending on that, all these would change. Okay, now let's look at the person is Alan, right? So like we all are administrators. Now I got this overview, right? Now what is that I can do as this is as a user perspective, right? Now what my this HR says, okay, you just go and look at the system, whatever that is there for the company and information and all that. So now this is so far it's been like a user how to navigate through the system, right? Not even an administrator. Like whatever we looked at the system so far, we discussed like, okay, it can be done this, that, but it's all as a user. Like when I was under the cases and clicking a new button and it showed me a form. So for example, this phone, email and web, it could be what the company has decided. That's why I see these values as a user, right? And similarly, the status is new, working and escalated. So these are the values that company decided to use. That's why I see these values here. Now, if I want to change the values to different one, then it's not the role of the user, right? It is the user like the role of the developer or administrator. So how do we, as I was mentioning, right, on the cloud for Salesforce, everything will be done through browser, and browser has two variations, or maybe user interfaces, or interface, I would say user, but interfaces. One is meant for users and one is meant for administrators or developers. So how do we access that? So that is accessed from here, like you go to, like click on this narrow arrow that you have under the name, and then you have this setup, right? So this setup is the place what you call the Force.com platform. As I said, Force.com platform is a cloud development environment. So what I mean to say cloud and development environment, you just click on this setup and you could create an application, something like this. Maybe I would say this warehouse, for example. So this is a new application, and this warehouse is just whatever I have created, and like it's just merchandise invoice statements. So this is the new application, what I call a warehouse application. Now how I did it is I just use Force.com platform, and I can access that by clicking the setup here. Okay. Now when you look at the setup, you completely see a different layout or interface. On the left side, what you have is all of these bold like words here, like system overview, personal setup, app setup, and then administration setup, something like that what you will see. And Srikanth, have you ever clicked on your personal setup while you are using the application Salesforce?
No.
Okay, that's fine. So here our Alan, right, the admin, he want to look at the company information, and he want to see like what is the name of the company, and maybe the phone numbers and the locale and all that, what information he can look at. So here to go for that, Alan will, or the admin will go here under the company profile and clicks the company profile link here. So what you will look at is, you will look at different sections like company information, fiscal year, business hours, holidays and domains, language settings, all of these. So here again, why all of these are required? So this is a kind of standard setup. Before we leave the application to the users, as a company, I would like to have my information properly available so that the Salesforce also knows that, okay, he is the person to contact from this company, and also the customers would know the phone number that is available, and also the time zone in which we are here. Similarly for fiscal years, right? So I want to start my accounting year from January to December, or June to what is it? June, July, August, May, right? June to May. So whatever that is there, that can be done here. And business hours. What is the supporting all hours for the company. All of that can be managed here. So let's look at the company information pay link, and the moment I click here, so I see the company information, and then the primary contact it shows, and the address, and the right side you see this English, default local, and language. So when you say local is the language, right, that we want to show on the user interface, like English. That means whatever I read, right, home, merchandise, all of these, whatever I have here is displayed in English. If I change my local to like Spanish, then whatever I see on the interface will change to Spanish. Okay, and the language that we would use is English. Then time zone. So the time zone is, let's say if it is Europe, then it could be 5.5 GMT, like place 5.5 hours. Then currency would be like British pounds. Then this shows some space, whatever that is available for us on with this account. And there is one more important thing here. Any questions so far here? Anyone?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So the other important thing is, as a administrator, you would know like user licenses, right? So that is important thing. Let's say company buys 200 licenses, and you want to see like you have only remaining license 0, for example, here, right? That means we want to, as a practice, best practice, you can check whether there are any users who are not using the system for the last 6 months or 3 months, and we can check that they really need a license or not. If not, we can deactivate them so that we can reclaim a license from them, so that it will be available for the new users. So like that, and then there are something called like feature license.
I'm sorry, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So in regards to licenses, okay. Since this is on the cloud, how do you manage licenses? I mean, is it a floating license or standalone license? How do you manage the license server?
Yeah, so here is the way Salesforce sells is per user they will charge. Let's say if you buy 10 licenses, right? 10 licenses, let's say $100 per month. So every month you pay like 500 for them, and you will start using them. Let's say 5 users, right? Either you can have one user ID, but it could be shared. It's not like the traditional licensing that happens with the concurrent that is usually with the Oracle software or Microsoft licensing per seat, per site. There are different old ways of licensing, but here it's not like that. It's like this, it's similar to apartment, right? We rent an apartment, and inside the apartment we can do whatever we want, right? It's similar to that only. When you get a license, they give a space, some data, and some functionality, and with that functionality you can do whatever you want, how much ever you can do it, right? So that is how it is. It's no need to, there's nothing to understand much about licenses. Like it's worry free. That's why the people say you pay as you use, or it's like utility. Let's say if you don't want it, then you just say, okay, I don't want to have that license from next month. So you will not pay for them. It's same thing like you don't want a cable, right? So you think, okay, we are not using the cable, you will just cut it off. And then you don't pay. So that is the beauty of this cloud. And of course, other benefits, like you don't need to maintain your servers, applications, and you don't need to have your own IT person to look after the service and backing up and all that. So all of those are other advantages also with the cloud applications.
Yeah, but as an administrator, yeah, I understand. So let's say I take license on my name, and I share with my co-workers, and we can use the same login credentials for which we got license, and we can use it, right? Is that what you're saying?
No, but see, I'm giving a scenario, but usually that won't happen. But yeah, the reason I said that example or gave that example, as long as you take a license and you pay the fee, they don't mind what you do with that. It's your company, right?
So let's say actually, I buy 10 licenses, right? but 50 users are there in this. 50 users are there in my company. 50 users want to use it. Usually, traditionally, we had. I mean, this. If I install any application and if I generate a floating license, so at any given point of time, only 10 users can use the system, and 2 users or 5 users log off from the system, and another 5 users can get in. That's how the floating thing works, right? At any given point of time, there will be 10 users, but 50 users can use the system based on its availability.
Yeah.
So likewise, taking that concept into consideration, how do we manage here? And the second question, the question adjacent to that is, as an administrator, are we supposed to? Is it our job function to manage the licenses or approve or deny licenses to people?
See, that depending on what you role, usually the administrator won't take the decision. So it's like this. That's one of the jobs of administrator is to monitor the licenses. So you should always to keep at least few licenses always available. That would be your job. And when I say like you take the same example of 10 licenses that we got, and there are 10 users, which like maybe 9 users, we keep one license like available for somebody who would join immediately. But out of the 10 users, maybe one user might have left the company. So what are you going to do with that license? Because if you don't deactivate as an administrator, or if you don't inform your manager saying that shall I deactivate this license or not, what happens is let's say you still think that 9 licenses are in use. But if you deactivate a license, then that license will be available, or it will show as remaining licenses here. Like under this one, if you the moment you deactivate user, then you can consider like there are 2 licenses rather than 1. So as an administrator, you should keep watching like that, whether somebody is leaving the company, and that is one thing. And if somebody is not using, see what happens most of the time when people start implementing Salesforce, they give everybody a license, like a director, VP, or maybe support executive. So many people they give, but director, what will he do? He may not have any authority, right? He just for the sake of having it, he will have it, whether he really using it. Sometimes we have to check on that and see, okay, maybe he's not using, then you just remind that, are you really using? So you can actually check there is something called user adoption. Adoption in the sense, are people really using? So you can query when you know from the log activity, right? So you can check the user login activity and see whether if he has not logged in for the last 3 months, or since last 3 months no activity, no, he's not creating a case, he's not creating an opportunity, he's not creating anything in the system, but his license is there. You can, as administrator, you can send an email saying that, okay, I did not see you, because you would be looking at some of the reports related to user license usage. Once you look at that, and then you would inform the user saying that, okay, you are not using this license last 3 months. Do you still need this? If you approve to deactivate, I can deactivate so that others can use, and we can save some money. Like that, you can communicate to the particular user who is not using the license for the last 3 months. So that would be a job of an administrator to make sure that licenses are not are productively used.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Now, similarly, the other section what we have is a fiscal year. So this is another section where you can have your custom fiscal years, which is primarily for like accounting purposes to make sure that you take care of your accounting. So there are things like first year month, like you can start with first or last year month, and also you can go for a custom fiscal year. So custom is which is not starting from January. So that you can set up here as an administrator, and whatever that we are looking at now is done before the system is in the hands of the users. So for example, Srikanth, you are using the system, right, for whatever job that you are doing or whatever that you are trying to create. But prior to that, maybe some other company might have come to your company and implemented, and they have done this setup, like company information, maybe the time zone, or this locale, or some of the other information like phone, fax, all of that they have already done it. Then the next one is business hours. So business hours is, if I click on this one, what it shows is it shows the hours like 24 hours, means it's like 24/7. This company, especially for the customers, maybe you might have seen, I think in your case, because you are dealing with cases, so you might have, or if you look at it, or you may know that okay, this might show different hours, and it will also allow you to add holidays and some other times which in which the company is not in operations for the customers. So depending on these business hours, if the call comes, they will inform, right? Okay, this call office is open from 9 to 5, and if you want, you can contact the next day. So, and some of the escalation rules like support cases, right? For example, if you have these 24 hours open, like 24/7, that means have you seen any escalations, Srikanth, in your situation? Like some case doesn't get resolved in, do you have SLAs, like service level agreements?
Yeah, but that happens mostly in the operations department.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, so in that operations or support, what they will have is this escalation, right? Okay, the customers, we promise that within 2 hours it gets done. And in 2 hours, let's say he sends, the office is closing at 6 o'clock, but he sends an email at 5 o'clock, and SLA is 2 hours. So that 6 is only 1 hour, right? From 5 to 6 is 1 hour, but 6 to 7 office is not in operations, right? It's not open. So the next day morning, let's say if it opens from 9 o'clock, then it is like 10 o'clock, it gets escalated if somebody is not going to take care of that issue. So that is how these business hours will be applicable for the company. Okay, so you have all of these. Again, let me go back to any questions so far, Abhijit? Hello?
No, I'm completely fine. I think.
Oh, okay. So I think, yeah, so this is what is about overview of the application. And so here is what I would be doing. I will, we have all these roles set up, right? Roles of the company, which I have done before. Like, can you see my PPT? No, right?
No.
Yeah, you cannot see, right? I think maybe. Yeah, can you see now?
No, sir, it's still on Salesforce.
Oh, you cannot see it? Can you see now?
No. Yeah, better you share a complete desktop so that whatever application you open, it will share.
Yeah, can you see this now?
No.
Okay, so what I was referring is these roles, right? What we have is Chris CEO, Frank Finance, Sally Sales, Mark Marketing, Sergi Service, Harper HR, Ellen Admin. So as we go over our classes, I might bring this particular role into like a picture, and then I'll try to relate some of the scenarios. So that is the main idea of having this roles.